Hi everybody, Wave 3 News Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with your Sunday morning edition of the Hokey video blog. Hope everybody's starting off on the right foot on your Sunday. Lots of stuff going on today, including the Prince concert downtown at the Palace. We've got baseball at Jim Patterson Stadium, U of L at 1 o'clock. The weather is going to be very cooperative of both events, but if you're parking downtown, be sure to keep an eye out because there could be some flooding issues that close off additional parking areas. The best advice, if you're going to one of these events downtown today, is come early so that you can find parking and make it to your event on time. Clouds, they're clearing out to the south of us as we speak. That allowed temperatures to drop from the mid to upper 40s to the lower 40s as we went throughout the early morning hours. And that's really all we're going to see for today from the sky because it's going to be a sunny day across Kentuckiana. Look up to our northeast, though. They've got a pretty good-looking snowstorm up there across portions of Quebec, eastern Ontario, even into Nova Scotia, Newfoundland up there in Canada, Maine, New York, the northeast. Yeah, they're dealing with snow still, and we are 5 days away from spring. Winter just won't let go for those folks. Certainly letting go for us, though, as we've seen the warmer temperatures and the rain, but unfortunately, even though the rain is gone, the flooding issues remain. In fact, they'll be getting worse across area rivers as we see flood stage crests as we go throughout your early Tuesday on the Ohio River. This is already causing problems for folks. We're getting numerous pictures in on Facebook, Twitter, even through email. This one from Madison, Indiana, from Robin. You can see that floodwaters have definitely overspread the banks there of the Ohio River. Same story from Deanna. Look at those benches along the river. Yeah, they're covered up almost to the seats. And perhaps the most captivating photo is this one from Milton, Kentucky, Trimble County, from Melissa. Her family now has to use a boat to get to their house because floodwaters have increased so much that they can't drive a car through them. And really, I think this is a good thing to point out that you shouldn't drive through floodwaters regardless of the height, because when you're staring down a flooded road in front of you, you don't know how deep those floodwaters are. We always say, turn around, don't drown. And today's the best day of the bunch, really, to hammer that home, because these floodwaters are going to continue to increase as we go throughout the early portion of this week. So much so that we get very close to moderate flood stage on the upper gauge of the Ohio River by Tuesday morning at 29.8 feet. We're at 28.6 now. Moderate flood stage is 30 feet. This will be the most flooding of the Ohio River that we've seen since April 27th, 2011. By the way, that date may stick out in the minds of many, especially in our southern viewing area, or those who may have been living down in Alabama or Mississippi, even Tennessee or Georgia during that day. Big tornado outbreak down there. I remember it because I was driving through it to get back to Louisville as I was finishing up my semester at Mississippi State. That was a scary, scary day for a lot of folks down there. The flooding, though, I don't think it will be as bad as certainly the tornado outbreak they had back then. 29 feet, here's what happens in Metro Louisville when we get up to that level. Utica, Indiana sees areas of flooding. 3rd Street ramp of I-64 closes. I think that's a given at this point. 10th and 27th Streets, they close at the floodgates there. At 28 feet, which we've already seen, we've got more sections of River Road closing. Line Kiln Lane south of River Road also floods at that point. 43 degrees, that's what we're seeing in Metro Louisville now. You'll see many folks are in the 30s outside the city, though. It's going to make a big flip as we go into this afternoon. We've got mid to upper 60s for highs. In fact, just north of the city, mid 60s for Seymour and Austin, both at 64 degrees. I think we get up to 67 here in Metro Louisville. To the south we go, and that's where we find quite a few mid 60s for high temperatures this afternoon. This will likely be the warmest stretch of weather we've had since October 26, 2014, as we head into tomorrow. That's when high pressure from the plains moves into the southeast. That gives us a nice warm westerly flow. A big chunk of warm air moves in overhead, and that's going to put our high temperatures into the 70s. I've pegged a high temperature of 75 degrees on Monday afternoon for Metro Louisville. But then a cold front comes through on Tuesday, and that's going to push our highs down only into the 60s, probably right at 60 here in the Metro. Really depends on the timing and the placement of that front. what high temperature we do see, but most of the data is now suggesting that'll hang around just enough, the front will, that we will be able to make it to 60 before we drop back into the 50s for the remainder of the work week. Got a couple of rain chances. The first one on Thursday, that looks pretty surefire at this point. GFS has been kind of having some hard troubles with this one. The Euro has been more consistent. We're trending with that now. The latest GFS, the 6Z coming in, been looking at that. That's starting to trend that rain northward into our area as well. So I think that's a pretty good bet, a 40% shower chance. Not looking for anything excessively heavy here, but we'll have to watch that, of course, because we'll have already seen some flooding by then. And hopefully that doesn't make things any worse. I don't think it really will. I think what it will do is it may delay the receding of these flood waters, which we don't want, but I don't think it'll really make a huge dent in making them go up any. Friday's rain chance is a little more iffy. That's why I put it at 30%. Because some of the models aren't really latching onto this and some are, so we'll have to see how that works out. It's worth noting that two streams of the jet stream here, the northern and the southern branch, will be phasing during that time. Some models doing this in a dry fashion, others not, and this is kind of the classic setup for a snowstorm, but check the calendar, folks, it's March. We're not going to be getting that across the area. If anything, just rain. Alright, look what happens to temperatures by Saturday, though. We're at 61 degrees. Here's what happens, though, in the futurecast temperatures as we go through time. You'll see that we've got this persistent trough over the eastern half of the nation that'll be moving through. It's not going to be as deep as it was during the winter time, so temperatures, therefore, won't be as cold. We do have a cold snap toward the end of the month, though. That's going to be on the 25th of March. In fact, that's going to be basically a week and a half from today. Wednesday is when we'll see that. Those temperatures may try to dip down into the 40s for a period of time. And, of course, spring starts on March 20th, so we're going to do this backwards. We're going to start off with the spring weather, then kind of descend back into what looks to be kind of a little bit of a wintry pattern as we go throughout the end of the month there. Of course, we're only just 5 days away from spring. A lot of folks are ready for it across the area after the rough weather that we've had, the multiple snowstorms, of course, the rounds of rain, the flooding. Let's get some calmer weather in here, shall we? I'll be back tonight on Wave 3 News at 6 and 11. I'll see you then.